Keijiro Matsushima was a 16-year-old student at a school in Hiroshima when, on the 6th of August 1945, he remembers looking up and seeing two American bombers over the city.
I just thought beautiful planes shining in the morning sun. But you know, the next moment, very strong flash and shock wave, very strong shock wave and heat wave attacked me at the same moment.
Matsushima describes the people he saw as he made his way out of the city.
Many of them had been so badly burned from head to feet. Wow, their charcoal gray skin were peeling from their faces, arms and necks.
An estimated 45,000 people died on the day of the Hiroshima explosion. But during the following months, years and decades, the death toll continued to rise, up to an estimated 166,000 people.
Even the healthy people, seemingly no injury, no burns, looks all right. But they became ill all of a sudden with a lot of strange symptoms, like high fever or bleeding from gums, or many spots on their bodies. And even doctors didn't know how to deal with them, and just people named them A-bomb diseases, that's all.
During the following decades, these diseases would be recognized as forms of radiation sickness. Now, the crisis at the Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant, caused by damage from the tsunami, is unleashing a new wave of radiation over parts of Japan. The government has evacuated everyone from a 20-kilometer radius around the plant. Some vegetables grown in Fukushima and neighboring prefectures have been contaminated with radiation. In Tokyo, 250 kilometers to the south, parents have been warned not to give tap water to infants after it was found to contain high levels of a radioactive element. The survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the so-called hibakusha, have become the major source of information on the effects of radiation exposure. Professor Masaharu Hoshi of Hiroshima University has spent 3 decades studying them. He says his biggest fear now is a sudden surge in radiation levels from the Fukushima plant.
With Fukushima, one scenario is that people are exposed to radiation gradually over a long time, and that's not a problem. But if later there's a nuclear explosion and people get exposed over the course of a couple of days, that scenario really scares me.
Hoshi says he fears information is being hidden from the public about how serious the situation is.
For example, the government says everyone living beyond a radius of 30 kilometers from the plant is okay staying at home. But there are still dangerous areas outside that 30-kilometer zone. The American government said the zone should be 80 kilometers. For me, that is the far better calculation.
Keijiro Matsushima says Japanese people soon forgot the horrors of the atomic bomb after 1945.
People thought, so far as the nuclear power is used in peaceful ways, that's okay. But we should have learned the evil of nuclear power from the experiences on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
But, says Matsushima, the threat from the Fukushima nuclear plant has reminded Japan of what happened back then, and the whole nation fears what may happen next.
From now on, we will have a very hard time. Yes, I'm afraid so. Yeah. But we have to do our best to recover and rise up again. Yes, we can.
It is in that spirit that the firefighters and engineers battling to prevent disaster at Fukushima have been embraced as heroes. Japan knows only too well the potential consequences if they fail. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, Hiroshima.